Hi everybody, Adrian Fontes here. I wanted to talk really quickly about an exchange that happened in a legislative hearing just the other day downtown, and talk some about the misinformation that's being put out there by political candidates. This from a tweet put out by @Garrett_Archer. He's the data guru. He used to work in the Secretary of State's office. He's with ABC 15 now. Smart guy. And here's his tweet. Kari Lake was, quote, "I was handed a ballot and the Sharpie that was given to me bled right through. So," she continues, "I believe my vote may have been adjudicated. Somebody else decided who I voted for, and that's unacceptable." And then Garrett Archer, that's the close quote, Garrett Archer continues, "There is no believing it did not happen. Hashtag AZ audit itself debunked." Well, so Garrett is putting out there on Twitter, this didn't happen, but I want to explain to you why. Because it could not have happened this way. Now, if Kari Lake says, "I was handed a ballot," that means that she was voting early at one of the vote centers we put together in Maricopa County where anybody could vote anywhere. So you're welcome for having that extra access, Kari. Cool. She was handed a Sharpie, which is great because that marking device is specifically designed for the system that we put in place in conjunction with the Board of Supervisors. Very cool. Now, people remember Sharpiegate, but that was all debunked back in 2020. She capitalized, she said Sharpie specifically to invoke that old controversy. That's the edge that she wants to sell. Remember, she's a journalist too, supposedly, so let's continue. "So I believe my vote may have been adjudicated." She hedged her language there. "I believe my vote may have been adjudicated." Now, I think Kari Lake, since she's running for governor, understands the election systems that she's been talking so much about. She would know, therefore, that you don't have adjudication on election day ballots. If she put it through the tabulator, if she put that thing through the tabulator, it could not have been adjudicated. Why? Because when you put a ballot through the tabulator, if there's an issue with that ballot or the selections on that ballot, it kicks it back out and it says, "Hey, you got an issue here." That's how the system is designed. Because during early voting, when you send your ballot in the mail, you don't have that second chance. So that issue, which may be an issue on that ballot, which is very rare, but there are some, then that goes just like a jury in a regular trial. You have a Democrat and a Republican looking at the image at that selection. They adjudicate what the voter's intent may have been, and if they can't decide, then that just doesn't count for that one contest, not for the whole ballot. It's just that one contest. So the idea that may have been adjudicated, and then she says, "Somebody else decided who I voted for, and that's unacceptable." Listen, the state legislature right now, promoted by Kari Lake, is saying we should do hand counts. When you hand count ballots, somebody else is deciding who you voted for, Kari. So you can't say you don't want other people deciding who you voted for, and then say you want hand count ballots. That's not how the reality works in the real world. You're either okay with somebody else counting your ballot by hand, which is what a hand count is, or you're okay with a machine that's been tested and verified through logic and accuracy tested by neutral parties to say, okay, that's where we want to go. Because the machines are way more accurate than the people. And let's not forget, just in Maricopa County alone, those of you who are asking for hand counts of all ballots, you're talking about, just in 2020, 2.1 million ballots with multiple contests. How long did it take those folks down at Veterans Memorial? And they were over 300,000 ballots off, by the way. How long did it take them to do just one contest with those hundreds of people that they had in there doing all of that? Can you imagine 30 or 40 contests and all the judges on the back and the potential for inaccuracies? Look, I get that Kari Lake wants to make a stink out of things that don't work for her politically and that didn't work for Donald Trump politically. I understand that. But these kinds of testimonies, these kinds of little hooks for splash, right, for salesmanship, that's not how our system's supposed to work. You as a potential public official or a candidate, you're supposed to share the truth. You're supposed to help people understand how things actually work. On election day, if you put your ballot through a tabulator and there's an issue, it's going to kick back out at you. The most basic concept, that's how that works. So there isn't even a remote possibility of adjudication because that ballot's going to go through. Moreover, let's just say that that was the case, that there's a problem and that ballot goes through, how are the election officials supposed to know which of the hundreds of ballots that went into that bucket is supposed to get adjudicated or not? The idea is ludicrous, and she's pushing this misinformation and disinformation, but she's careful to hedge just enough so that she's not flat out lying. That's bad faith. And I challenge Kari Lake to just do better. Just kind of pretend like you're a little bit more of a journalist and a little bit less of a huckster and a bootlicker to Donald Trump. Try that for a change, Kari. And you and your entire cohort over there who are perpetuating this big lie need to just stop, slow down. Think about what you're doing to the fabric of our society. You're not just advocating for one guy. You're destroying faith that people have in each other, that Americans have in each other. That's terrible. That's really terrible, especially when good Republicans and Democrats sat together and ran that election in 2020. You're destroying faith that folks, that Americans have in each other. So I suggest that Kari check her facts, like any journalist would, before she goes spreading more of these lies. I'm Adrian Fontes. I'm running for Arizona Secretary of State, and I'm going to tell it to you like it is. You know you can rely on me to tell the truth, even if it costs me politically, personally. I don't care. You deserve folks who are going to advocate for you, the voters. Everybody have a great day. Thanks.